We're in the wisdom of love, highest wisdom of all. We're coming to the end. We're in chapter 8 of the Song of Songs, verses 8 to 10. The Shulamite is talking. She says, "We have a little sister, and she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she shall be spoken for?" And the king answers, "If she be a wall, we will build upon her a palace of silver. And if she be a door, we will enclose her with tight boards of cedar." And the Shulamite responds, "I am a wall, and my breasts are like towers. And then was I in his eyes, as one that found favor." And for the first time in this song, the Shulamite uses the term "we" in reference to the king and herself. So she is now totally identified with the king. In a fully developed marriage, the husband and wife will find themselves saying "we." They'll say "us." They'll say "ours" rather than "I," "me," "my," "mine." So what happens is that our individuality, more so our independence, gets subsumed. And in being subsumed into the marriage, where two are made into one, we become expanded so that I now take on the place of not just being an individual, but I now take on the place of being two. Two are better than one. So love has created such depth in this case, such depth of understanding in the union of intent. So now when I intend to do something, it's actually mine and my wife's intent. So the two intents intensify the intent. So our intent and our action have then a greater perception of authority, and all of these things are resident whenever any one of us speaks. So it's now no longer me speaking on my own, but whenever I speak on behalf of Sasha and myself. So an impenetrable force surrounds, a force field surrounds such a marriage. And the effectiveness of a couple in ministry is exponentially powerful. For if one can put to flight 1,000, two are able to put to flight 10,000. This is what a marriage becomes, impenetrably powerful. The Shulamite is asking for the little sister to find her true form. What this means is that the bride is now praying and interceding according to the will of God, no longer petitioning in uncertain hope, but with the confidence that she is in the will of the king. She's developed an acute awareness of those who are undeveloped in their faith and love, and who therefore are incapable of feeding others. So the very basics of spiritual life, their spiritual life, are lacking. They're saved, but they're not growing. They settle for a little knowledge, for a little faith, for a little love, for a small blessing, for an immature walk. And they've stopped craving pure spiritual food. And the bride recognizes that unless they commence developing, the little sister might lose what she already has. Because remember, Jesus said, "For him who has not, then what he has, even what he has, shall be taken from him." So the Shulamite is concerned, the bride is concerned for those who are not growing, because even what they have, they can lose if we don't continue to grow. This is why when somebody is born again, they must embark upon discipleship to become fully mature disciples in Christ. The concern being that if they do not keep on growing, that we'll even lose that which we have already gained. So the day when she will be spoken for, mentioned in the song, is that moment that the 10 virgins are, that's when the 10 virgins are awakened to the call. Behold, the bridegroom comes. So there's some urgency here in the Shulamite's voice because the time is getting near now. What can be done to prepare those who are unprepared, those who may have their lamps but have no oil for them? And so the king answers, the Shulamite, when she expresses her concern, the king answers. And when the king answers, he also uses the plural we. He says we. This is the royal we, because when royalty speaks, they speak for everyone. And the king also uses we because he expects the bride to be involved in changing the state of the undeveloped believers. And he says, if there is something in her life that we can work with, then he can work with that to turn it into a palace of silver. Silver represents truth and redemption. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And he says, and if she be a door, we will enclose her with cedar. And that represents the incorruptible nature of the king. Of course, the door must be open to Jesus for him to be able to come in and work with her. And in this way, all that is lacking in her life shall be tended to. And then the Shulamite demonstrates to the little sister what is possible because she says she no longer needs to build walls for her self-protection. She has become a strong wall with towers. She says, I am a wall. So faith and love have come to define her character. And further, she lives as one who has found the favor of the king. This is God's will for us. God's love elevates us to the place where we live in the absolute favor of the king. That's right. This is the power of love. We've only got one more message coming through out of the Song of Songs. And so this is the penultimate message. Next message is the ultimate message. God bless you. We'll see you then for more wisdom out of this Song of Love.